Hey, how y'all doing today? I want to thank you for coming out. My name is Andrew Herman, and I am here to tell you about a part of the Navy called the Seabees. Now, the Seabees are the part of the Navy that goes out and does construction. They construct anything from roads to bridges. They do all kinds of different things. Now, I was a Seabee for 11 years, and since I've been out, I've done research on the Seabees. So I've increased my knowledge from what I knew when I was in. Now, the Seabees started back in 1941. The U.S. Navy saw a need for construction and combat areas. Um, they saw the need to have people out there building roads, building airstrips, but they didn't want to have civilians out there. So they enlisted a bunch of civilians in the military, anywhere from 18 to 60 years old, and they trained them with basic combat skills, and they sent them out during World War II. The majority of them went to the islands out in the Pacific, and they built airstrips. They cleared areas for roads. They built hospitals. They built schools. Um, they built a lot of bridges. They were there at the landing in Normandy in the Atlantic War area. They were there with the Army engineers clearing the beaches at Normandy before they landed. Um, Seabees do a ton of different things. In the Korean War, they operated the pontoon causeways, and they brought them in. They built them and had them in place hours before they landed at Incheon, which has always been widely known as one of the most elaborate and um, just had a lot to do with that amphibious landing in Incheon during the Korean War. Now, in Vietnam War, they would go out in teams of 12, 13 people, and Seabees can do pretty much anything that you tell a Seabee that you need to get done. They would go out in groups in teams of 12 to 13 people sometimes. Now, Seabees normally are in battalions, which are 6 to 800 people. So, and they send them out in what's called detachments, and they would go out and they would just basically maintain a camp for the Army, maintain a camp for the Marines, whatever they needed to do. And they would Seabees build, and they also fight. We defend our own whatever we build. Now, they would go out and they would be there. They would maintain these camps, and they would also help defend these camps. And there was numerous times where Seabees would be part of a camp when it was getting overrun by the Vietnamese, and that's where the first Seabee who won a Congressional Medal of Honor was Marvin Shields. He was a construction mechanic third class, which is an E4. He was there, and he lost. He was given the award posthumously, but he was given it for pulling people, other Seabees and Army, out of a firefight and saving their lives when he lost his own. Um, During Operation Desert Storm, Desert Shield, back in the early '90s, Seabees were some of the first ones in country over there. They were building roads. They built fleet hospitals for the Marines. They built the Marine tent cities, their camps, their 500-man camps. And they built them, they maintained them, and they stayed on scene and they protected them. They built roads, thousands of miles of roads going through the desert. Seabees maintained their own roads as well. Seabees Seabees have done the same thing throughout this latest war as well. They built the roads, they built the camps, they've maintained the camps. Seabees were with the Army on the original push into Baghdad. They built bridges where the Army and the Marine Corps needed them. Seabees have their main mission right now is convoys and protecting their convoys, because we have equipment operators who are heavy equipment operators. They drive trucks, tractors. They drive whatever they're basically delivering material throughout Afghanistan and Iraq, but they also provide their own security for those details. So they have tactical movement teams which travel with those convoys to protect them in case they run into any IEDs on the road or anything along those lines. Seabees also have a big role in humanitarian aid throughout the world. If the United States is sending troops somewhere for humanitarian aid, you can guarantee that Seabees are going to be there. They were here down in South Mississippi after Hurricane Katrina. They brought Seabees in from all over the country to come help other Seabees who are stationed here, because the Seabee battalions are stationed out of either Gulfport, Mississippi, or Port Hueneme, California. Seabees were in Honduras after Hurricane Mitch, Puerto Rico during Hurricane George. That's actually where I was during Hurricane George. We did a lot of disaster relief there throughout the communities and setting up generators for power. Seabees were involved in humanitarian aid for the earthquake over in Japan, the earthquake and tsunami, the earthquake in Haiti. In peacetime, Seabees are in home port. They have a regular deployment schedule where they'll be home 12 months and be gone 6 months. And that they rotate between different deployment sites. The Seabees, while they're in home port, they do a lot of training. You go on field exercises. You go through a lot of different schools, learn a bunch of different tasks that are going to give you a job. They're going to help you get a job when you get out of the military. They're all correspond to your rate. You, on deployment, you do construction projects. You basically just give support to the bases that you're stationed at, wherever you deploy to. There's certain main body sites that they deploy to, and there's also detachments, smaller detachments that split off from there. There's 5 rates of the Seabees. There's electricians, builders, steel workers. There's utilities men who are plumbers and HVAC and heating and air conditioning. There's construction mechanics. There's equipment operators, and there are engineering aides. Seabee, basically the life of a Seabee, it's hard. It's a good job. You get a really good trade from when you get out of the military. You work hard though. You really feel like that you've done a job, that you've really done a service for your country. Well, I hope you guys will take this into consideration when you're trying to decide what branch you want to join. If you have any questions, feel free to talk to me after this message. Thank you. Y'all have a great day.